Hello everyone, and you're watching Bitcoin Bubble news channel. When I think about this, I think this is a chance for the areas to turn off trillion today. Like other types of assets, I think it will reach $100 trillion. That was the biggest deal ever, and it made more money than any other event in history. That's the deal. How would you like to cut that up? You can slice and dice it however you like, how much risk you are willing to take. But that's the deal. The first time I did it, crypto is going to grow 50 times from an asset class worth $2 trillion now to a huge $100 trillion by 2030. Robopal, a macroeconomics expert, made this bold statement in his most recent interview, where he talked about why crypto will be successful in the long run. RAOUL says that crypto has already hit escape velocity and can't be stopped even if Gary Gensler stays on as chair of the SEC or a different person wins the next election. Stay tuned until the end of the movie to hear what RAOUL has to say about the banana zone and the liquidity cycle. If you want to see more crypto and Bitcoin news, check out our daily 5-minute crypto email before the rest of the video. It's a great breakdown and study of on-chain crypto data. And the best part is that it's free. In short, they'll talk about what experts think will happen, how on-chain crypto data is broken down, and any breaking news you need to know. To become a better crypto trader right now, click the first link in the description and enter your email address. Over 50,000 other people have already done the same thing. I don't want to guess prices because the internet is a bad place where you'll get hit over the head with it. There's no point. There is a lot of height gain. I think Solana goes up by about 10 times from here and Bitcoin goes up by 5 or 4 times from here. That's what a normal bull market looks like. Plus, there's always the first race, which is the early stages when you don't have any proven network effects. That's the big thing I'm starting to think about. In fact, that bet is a good one. That bet was the Solana bet of the last cycle and the ETH bet of the cycle before that. The whole thing isn't on it though. I'm beginning to think about that since I don't trade or do anything else. I'm just sitting here with my work. That's what I'm thinking about because I think there will be a great move soon. It's fun, but it goes by very quickly. And after it goes up too high, it normally goes down 95%. China has banned it 3 times, India has banned it 3 times, India has banned it twice, the US is against it, and Europeans hate it. We've been in this space for a long time, and it doesn't make a damn difference. No, it's not. It wouldn't matter if Gensler became president, the job is done. It's kind of like decentralized, it's everywhere. For 4 years, the US can stand in the way of new ideas, but they will be picked up somewhere else. You may remember that in 2021, we all said, oh my goodness, if China bans Bitcoin and kicks out the miners because all the Bitcoins being mined in China, it's over for the space. It's over. It was down for a few days. Yes. Really, every time Europe says they're going to make things right, it's all an act. Noise. I really can't believe how many times it's just powered through all the stupid people out there. And Gensler is the best example of how stupid people can be. I really mean it. Good luck then. Get a job in the treasury. Have a good time. As you may know, I enjoy hearing all the stress and worry. I believe it's a part of the feeling. It's the job of the bull market to try to throw you off. But I mean, there are good reasons for a permanent bull market to keep going. Your job is just to stay focused and not let the FUD throw you off. People always come up with reasons not to do something, even if all they need to do is buy it and then do nothing. It's kind of like how money and value are being digitalized. The process is very simple. That might not be stopped by anyone. It is the same as the web. It's the same. I use that to get thoughts and facts. Oh, people were afraid of the spread of ideas. The end of the world is near. There was no end to the world. Just so you know, Nasdaq went up 50 times, right? It's the same. Gensler and everything else, it doesn't matter. Watch Ro explain why crypto will eventually reach 50x, even though prices have been flat since March. A lot of important things are about to happen, and markets don't like unpredictability. The US election, which is pretty much a coin flip, is having a big effect on prices right now. There will be no more doubt about who will be president-elect after November 5th, though. It's possible that crypto will go up after that, similar to how it has gone up in earlier cycles. Let's hear from Raoul about where we are in the liquidity cycle and why he thinks Bitcoin will reach $1 million per coin in the long run. From 2008 on, the world's debt was reset. Instead of getting rid of all the debt, they lowered interest rates to zero and said that no one had to pay interest rates. Okay, that was a big plus for the system, and everyone's debts were wiped out for the next 3 to 5 years. This means that the business cycle is driven by the debt refinance cycle, which is when I have to renew my debts and interest payments. That's always been the case with the business cycle. Okay, it's almost been 4 years now. In history, the only other time it was this good was in the 1950s and 1960s after World War II and the tight money rules that followed. So there is financial control, but it only lasts for 4 years at a time. The US election cycle, which lasts for 4 years, is the coin cycle. It's all the same. It doesn't matter what you call it, there is a cycle going on, and we're just now entering it. We have $10 trillion in debt to resolve. You need to make the interest payments again. Most of the time, they add enough cash to the system to cover this cost because GDP growth isn't high enough to cover it all. This starts the next loop. That's what all assets are really driven by right now. Basically, everything is linked. That being said, there is one asset that does much better because it has both the secular acceptance curve and the macro tailwind of currency debasement and the cycle. That asset is crypto. That's where we are in the cycle right now. Since it's election year, they start giving money out after the election. More work needs to be done on them as well. This means that the end of an election year is usually a very good time. The year after that is usually also very, very strong. The same goes for the whole world. All of the world's big central banks are refinancing their debts at the same time. This includes those in China, Japan, Europe, and Canada. In these refi cycles, you always want to find the weaker link because that person is most likely to need the most help. This time, China is most likely it. In the US, liquidity is FedNet liquidity, which is the Treasury General Account. There are also quantitative and balance sheet uses, as well as the reverse repo, which is somewhere between the Treasury and the Fed. In other words, all three of them work together to keep this process running smoothly. They know that once they start turning on the faucets, the automatic buildup will happen. So Dan is right. Also, guess what? It leads to cash gains. They have to pay tax on their income. It starts to pay for debts. In a way, this cycle makes macro look better than it ever has before because of how it works. How long does that last? Most likely not. But I think I've ever seen it so clear. Almost every time I've sold something, it was a mistake. In fact, you should look forward to bear markets and put money into them. I mean, I bought Bitcoin for the first time and it was worth 200. I would have been much richer if I had just kept that job. It's not smart, right? But you get caught up in the circle way of thinking. Now feel free to lower the risk a bit. Do something, but this deal isn't just a cycle. It's not going to work out the way you think. You'll buy at the low and sell at the high. You're not going to. You'll miss it. But I already have some goals in mind. I mean, I remember talking to Raoul like I always do, even in 2019. I thought we were somewhere between 8 and 10 Bitcoin, and I thought we'd be around 300